It's cold.
It's freezing today.
Yeah.
What do you think of like startups in Japan?
Who are you? That's an open-ended question. Things has been changing quite a lot here in the last 5-10 years. Startups are becoming a big part of the mainstream of the society in general. We're seeing several unicorns growing, a lot of investments starting to flood. AI made things go a little bit more fast. I would still see a lot of challenge. Japan was built on big enterprises, the main drivers of the society and the market. So startups sometimes have a lot of challenge to penetrate into the market, political, market entry, a lot of challenges, but still, things are improving.
Are you saying like startups are like puppies with bulldogs?
In a way, but every puppy become a big dog eventually, so you just gotta go through the hustle. A lot of people quit before they go through the hustle, and they think it's just like, I have a shiny idea, I'm gonna go to Japan, launch a startup, it's gonna boom. That's not the reality.
And like, what made you think of creating your own startup? What do you do, by the way?
And how do you know I started the startup? Were you spying on me?
No.
Why I started the startup in Japan? Why not?
So it's not why, it's most like, why did you decide
What
on
was the
that
drive?
field? On that field first. Where are you from?
I am from North Africa.
Why did we drop the accent? So where are you from?
I am from North Africa, Algeria.
All right.
I think we share the same origin, I guess, so you
I
should
think
know
so,
better
but
than me.
he's from the land of Garanteta.
Yeah, the east side. I've been in Japan for about 13 years. I came here mainly as a student. I took my PhD course in Tokyo. I used to be an engineer. I'm still an engineer. After finishing my education, I started working in 2 startups in Tokyo. And then I felt like engineering is not well designed in Japan. Like they don't have a good sense of software. I mean, Japan boomed in the era of manufacturing, basically different kind of engineering, not the software. The IT was never the mainstream here. Recently it is, but it's never used to be. So I felt like there was a gap. So my idea was very simple. I'm gonna get a group of great engineers together, and we're gonna go there to Japan and we say, hey, we can build a better software. Let us help you.
Okay.
That's it.
Was it easy to pitch this idea? Because from what I know, from what I hear, you do not change a team that's winning, even if it's slow.
Yeah, but the question is that team winning?
Right.
So I think people start to realize they are not winning.
Right.
And they needed to find another way. They have to change. If you don't change, you die eventually.
Right. Is it because of foreign businesses or following the trend?
In general. So when I launched Links 2020, the timing was very interesting. It was in the middle of the pandemic. Everyone was panicking, no toilet papers in Japan. Everyone is running around.
No masks.
But what I saw during that time is most Japanese enterprises were panicking.
Ooh, nice.
Hey, mommy. I'm
Which
joking.
mommy? So there was no toilet paper in Japan, and you thought, I'm going to create a company.
Yeah. Why? Because I saw a big panic in the Japanese enterprises.
Right.
Because business became touchless. You can't go to the office, you can't go to the whatever.
Right.
And you needed to reach out to your customers without asking them to be there physically.
Okay.
And everyone saw a gap between what they were thinking they are ready for and what was the reality. And I called Corona, or the COVID era, one of the most advantaged CIO of Japanese society. Why? It helped a lot of companies to start moving forward toward more digitalization, more transformation. It was a big push. So the timing was bad from a society point of view, the disease and all of that. On the business side, it was a good timing to start a new era for Japanese enterprise. And a lot of things has been changing since then. And now AI jumped in, things are booming, things are growing really fast. So the timing I felt was right to jump in. And you said the question, why changing to something else? What it takes to do business in Japan, and it's all about trust and relationship.
Okay.
So when I started from scratch, it's like, okay, how do you get your first customer? How do you penetrate your first market, right? Now I work in the financial market, which is one of the most rigid markets in Japan. But I didn't start there. I didn't start from there. I started from other markets, basically, more like open industry, like telecommunication, manufacturing. And how did I get my first customer? I said I've been in Japan for 13 years, so I had the privilege or the luck to work with really great people,
Right.
and those people end up being decision makers in those companies.
That's fantastic.
So when I launched, they were the first people I had to make a phone call with.
Okay, so you are saying that you need a base of connection
You
somehow.
have to. You
Like,
have to.
This is something I always ask people. It's like coming from 0 to 100% is impossible, right, without connection.
I mean, 0 to 1 is already hard. 1 to 100, it's
right.
another beast.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly. Why is it? Like, from in other countries, it's really easy, right? To not easy, but easier.
Yeah.
But what's the difficult part here?
The Japanese market is built around this how can I say? It's really trust-driven market. You gotta know the culture to be able to run the business here.
Right.
It's a part of the game, you know.
Right.
Like, okay, let's say other countries, let's look Europe or the US, for example, it's
Right.
very diverse, right?
Sure,
Those
yeah.
societies are built through diversity, through immigration,
Open-mindedness.
open-mindedness.
Yes.
So they expect people coming from different background.
Sure.
So, you know, it's straight to the point, let's do this, let's do that, show me, quick result, doesn't work, cut off.
Yes or no?
Yes or no?
Yeah.
You might already know this. In Japan, it's very hard to say no. So they say no indirectly. Sounds good, but we don't have the budget this time, so let us think about it. That's a
Yeah.
no. Straight.
考えます.
I'm gonna think about it. Omochikaeri. I'm gonna bring it back to the company. All of that is a no.
考えます is
So you gotta understand where you are operating to be
Right.
able to know how you position yourself.
I
So
see.
that's what I would advise always people coming in. This is how I did it in this country. I'm gonna do it here. It doesn't always
Doesn't work.
make sense.
Right.
It's the same thing when you hire someone from the next company. Maybe that company is really big, really
Right.
successful, but doesn't mean they will be able to shine in your company.
right.
It's just different environment, different criteria.
Right.
So the
Absolutely.
background doesn't always mean it's gonna be easier for the next. It
I-
helps. It's of course help you to be ready, have more knowledge, more experience, but it doesn't always mean that I have done it here, I can do it here.
Right. Just to make things clear, so your company is like a fintech company? So you said you work with banks, so
Okay, so I wouldn't call it precisely a fintech company. And again, I would go back to when I told you when I launched Links, I didn't have a plan to work with banks. All I had was to build a better engineering service in Japan. So I wasn't limiting to banks. But eventually, as you build the company, you gotta precise your market to be a little bit more unique, build competitiveness.
Niche.
So a niche, and then slowly we start to get a lot of credibility with financial institutions.
Right.
So I don't call my company a fintech company because a fintech is a company that provides a product either for end consumers or for businesses.
Right.
I don't know, like PayPay,
Yeah.
in Japan,
I see.
Wise, Revolut, those are fintech companies.
Okay.
And they usually compete with the banks
So
in
what
a
would
way.
you call your
So what I do, basically, I empower banks to become fintech type
Oh, okay.
company. Because banks have been built for the last 70 years, 80 years, 100 years. They are building their business on a very legacy technology, a legacy asset, and they are losing competitiveness, they are losing market share to those fintech players.
Right.
So I try to empower those banks to
Right.
have a better service offering, a better product offering by helping them build their core infrastructure.
I see.
Their systems are built like 40, 50 years ago.
That's the biggest issue in Japan. I'm not a fintech or any tech person, but what I realize in Japan as a citizen is like everybody tells you Japan is living in 2300 or something. But on a daily basis, when you see the systems and how
Yeah.
you register to things, even ticketing
Yeah.
system is very archaic and very shocking.
It is. I mean, there are a lot of things that are shiny and
Of course,
advanced.
of course,
So,
yeah.
for example, with the business what I operate, I see the behind the scene.
Okay.
I see what's holding this society. I call it the core infrastructure.
Right.
So when you look at the banks in Japan, 90% of them, or maybe more than that, are all built on systems that are running 40, 50 years ago.
Right.
And it's just a matter of time. They start cracking because the technology it was built on, it's already outdated, it's not
Right.
maintainable.
Right.
And maybe you can see a beautiful UI application and all that, but it doesn't mean it's modern.
Right.
Why? You can input all the information you want, but then the core where the information is stored, the ledger, where everything is processed, are still very old. They are still not able to adapt to the new changes. So as much as the front end or the UI looks beautiful and
Right.
shiny, it doesn't mean the system is efficient. Problem right now with
Sorry.
AI adoption.
Okay.
AI has a lot of requirements that are not able to meet with Japanese enterprise, and that's why most of the project finish at the POC level.
Oh.
If you don't improve those cores, it's hard to scale. And why, to close with this, why Japan has a lot of legacy core? Japanese market, Japanese society as a whole was not built through an IT-driven mindset. It's boomed during the manufacturing era. They have a lot of trading companies. They have great banks. They have great service providers. They don't have great IT companies.
They plateaued at that, and they did not.
Yeah, I mean,
move on
who are
with
the
it.
most famous companies in Japan? They are car makers or trading companies
That's
or
true.
banks.
That's true.
They represent the market of Japan.
Right.
Those were booming. They never thought about IT as a priority. They
Right.
only thought about it's a cost. Okay, do it later.
Right.
But now life changed. IT is one of the most competitive advantage to build a business that scale beyond boundaries, right?
Right.
And now they start to realize they are so slow to be, how can I say? They're losing their speed because they are dragging this historical asset with them.
I have a theory about that. When it comes to
Teach me.
That's theory, so it's just a theory.
Teach me your theory.
My observation is when it comes to something mechanic, okay, that's actually tangible, they know how to deal with it A, B, C, D, E, okay? But engineering and like computer science in general, it keeps upgrading so fast that they don't seem to have one book to follow the instructions to. The moment you learn something, you have to learn something new already.
Your theory is correct.
Yeah.
So again, as I keep saying, most enterprise boomed in Japan during the manufacturing era.
Right.
Manufacturing process is very detail driven.
Right.
You don't build a car by changing things every 2 weeks.
Right.
You gotta run something that runs for 10, 20 years without saying, I have a headache.
That's Japan.
So most of the system in Japan that I have a tremendous respect to, they were built with stability in mind.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's why your money right now in the bank, it's still there. I would say it's still safe. It's a little bit, system is shaky, but it's been always stable.
Right.
They care about stability more than anything else.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's why they are very detail driven, very process oriented. But the thing is, the new era, or what I call it, AI Jedi, from now on, it doesn't
I love it.
I think stability alone will not be enough. We need stability and adaptability.
Right, absolutely.
Because the technology is changing, it's evolving very fast, and now the gap is growing so big between modern technology and the reality of the core system of Japanese enterprises.
Right.
And that gap gonna make it so hard for this market to boom in the future.
Right.
And that's why startups are jumping in and trying to help with this problem.
Right.
And that's why I see there are a lot of opportunities in this country.
And you feel that, like, when it comes to startups in general, do you feel like the government is offering help? Because I don't see much happening, except maybe in the Shibuya area. I see a lot of, like, positive, what's called, meetings and startup meetups in general. So I see some movement. But on the real side of things, financially speaking, do you think there's a lot of help to grow startups, or is it like a shaky business to rely on?
It's really tough questions, and to be very transparent and very honest, I'm not really involved in this ecosystem because my company operates a little bit differently.
Right.
We're in the B2B sector and we help major enterprises to modernize, while some other startups, they start with like an idea, product, they need to raise money, and they take the whole life cycle to do a market product fit.
Right.
For me, the market is already there.
Right.
The problem is already there. So what I'm trying to do is create a new approach to resolve it.
Absolutely.
So it's a little bit different approach. But as far as I see, while I'm living here, I think there has been a lot of things. If I compare to 5 years ago,
Right, for sure.
more program, more supports. They are even helping new program to help foreigners build companies and make them able to even go to the stock market,
Actually,
IPO.
you have a startup visa now in Japan.
There's a startup. It's getting a little bit difficult.
Founder startup visa. No, the startup founder visa is fantastic, actually.
Okay.
If you have a good idea and a good business idea and you have the whole thing going on, you can come.
Cool.
Especially Shibuya startup division, like the government, the mayor, etc. They're doing this cool thing of like encouraging people to come and invest.
Good to know.
Basically, yeah.
I'm not really familiar because my visa process has been very different. I was living here.
Please invest in me. Please invest in me.
But I think there are a lot of programs recently to help.
Right.
Not only foreigners, but also Japanese who wants to launch. And people start to get away from the idea of like long life employment in a company and trying to jump and start things, even if they fail. the point is trying. Is
Right.
the learning curve throughout the process is what makes the whole value,
Right.
rather than whether you succeed or fail. So the more people challenge, the more the challenge spirits grow in this market. And the more I feel like Japanese society goes back to its original spirit where they challenge, they push
Right.
the boundaries.
Because it's
I
a
feel
full cycle, basically.
it is, and I
Yeah.
feel like it's there. They just need to activate that
it's
engine
like,
again.
Do the jump, do the jump.
Like they
It's
did in the 80s and the 90s, and things were like, oh!
Right. Because I feel like, just like you said, during COVID, do you remember like everyone was learning Python? Somehow, like you go to the bookstore and you see only
Yeah,
programming
everyone
books.
went into technology.
So
yeah,
basically,
yeah.
everybody was learning programming, and I feel like there was the moment because everybody works 24/7 in Japan. So COVID gave people an occasion to actually think outside of the box a little bit.
They didn't need to be in the office every day.
It was
so They started to
amazing.
think.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
amazing to see people thought of business ideas. They opened their shops. They opened, they were more like prone into engaging into some kind of business. Like, oh, I can actually do this. So I just like you said, I feel like the COVID era was really positive in Japan somehow. In terms of
Opening people's minds.
looking at yourself again and think again about your future.
Yes.
Which is cool. Oh,
Yeah.
one thing you absolutely love about Japan, very quick.
For me, personally, I care about two things really, really. One is security and safety.
All right.
And second is healthcare.
Absolutely.
And I've been loving this too as I live in Japan. I have two little kids. They can go to school by themselves.
Right.
They go to play on the street. We have this, the healthcare is very accessible,
Right.
cost-wise. That detailed-wise, sometimes it's good in industries like healthcare. They make sure they check everything.
True.
There's no, oh, you look fine, come back next year.
Well, depends.
Yeah, so they look into the details, and that sometimes helps people's life.
yeah.
It's one of the reasons people live really long here. Of course, the food and all of that is important, but also the regular checkup they do is what makes people live longer here. They check things way early than
Yeah,
it's
you mean
late.
about like cancer and stuff like that?
I mean, in general.
Yeah, but like I would
diseases.
disagree a little bit with you. For example, when it comes to orthopedics, I'm not gonna say it's bad, but because I had problems with my knee and 5 doctors like misdiagnosed me.
Oops.
Yeah, so
well, yeah.
what I'm
not
saying
every
is-
experience is great.
No. When it comes to checkup, you're absolutely right because they have a chart to follow and there's tests to do. Like they do a battery of tests and stuff, so everything is clear. But again, when it comes to diagnosis, which is like not Dr. House level, but they wouldn't ask you. They would like I had doctors who looked at my knee, didn't touch it, and they go like, "You need surgery."
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I don't feel like my husband and I went to Algeria and I did their X-ray, and he looked in the outside because the hospital was busy inside. My husband was like, "Are you serious?" And
Yeah,
then
that's how we do.
And he said he found exactly what's wrong with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe all they needed
hospital.
all they needed to do is to look outside. Sometimes looking outside gives you a different perspective.
That's
Well,
very deep.
But those are the two things I appreciate about living here. If I would improve something, is probably like raising up the level of creativity. Japanese society is built around being homogeneous.
Right.
They try to have consensus before making a decision.
Right.
And when it comes to business, that consensus sometimes is very time consuming and kill the idea.
Right.
So we need a little bit of balance of keeping that spirit of the culture, but
Keep it
merging
light.
it a little bit with creativity, speed, challenge, a little bit more risk. That's how I would like to see more of a change in Japan. And
That's a good word,
I'm
risk.
seeing it. It's changing slowly,
Great.
but
it
it's
is.
better than nothing.
Absolutely, yeah.
I can see a lot of changes. So
Right. Thank you.
be optimistic.
Thank you so
Woohoo!
much
Come.
for your insight. Yeah. What did we drink today? Espresso black. Asahi.
Ocha.
Show there. Please.
People.
Just a bit of
Thank you for your questions.
See you next time.
Till the next time.
Bye.
Cheers.
Oh, hold on,
Okay,
I want
see
to
you
do the
later.
last part.